All right, guys. So I'm going to show you guys how you can retrieve project that you've worked on by using the timeline backup feature instead of just using the project backup. Though I do recommend when you guys are when you are on your projects to always make sure you guys have projects backup on in your settings, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So let's open up a new project, and I'll show you guys the first step you guys have to do. Okay, so we're in the new project and we're going to do a backup of a timeline that or project I've lost. Obviously, this doesn't mean you're going to recover all the media. So if you still have the media, then this is just to assist you guys in getting the actual timeline back. We all know the importance of the timeline. That's where all the work is done. So it won't include like sound effects and all your actual assets and the media for the project. It just is the timeline and what you've done on the timeline. First, we're going to do this in Davinci Resolve. We're going to go to settings, we're going to preferences, and we're going to go to our user settings. And we're going to make sure that when it comes to the project save and load, that your project backup is always saved. It's on. Okay. Make sure you have all three of these ticked and then onto a spot that you can actually go back into. So when it comes to your particular folder location, you can choose anywhere, of course. I've chosen this as my project backup setting, but you can choose anywhere else, doesn't matter. And then perform backups every 5 minutes. So it'll perform a backup of the project every 5 minutes. Hourly backups for past, it'll be obviously an hour. And then daily backups for the past is 1 day. So you can change these settings however you like. I've just had these as my settings and they work best for me and my project uses. But make sure to have these live and project backups and timeline backups saved. Now, if you haven't had that in the past and you've obviously gone into your project settings, I'm going to go into a folder quickly. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I had from the folder. So I had this as my project settings, my project backup. I never had the actual project backup saved. So I had only these on the go. This obviously didn't include the project itself and the bins and all the all the setup of the actual project. It was just a timeline. So in order to get the timeline back, what you're going to do is you're going to have to make a new timeline inside Davinci Resolve. Okay, so we've got a new timeline. Doesn't matter what the timeline is. You can just leave it as that. And we're going to go create. Once you've created a new timeline, what you're going to do is you're going to right click and you're going to go on to restore timeline. Okay, you will notice that inside here, it'll show you the current new timeline that was just created, the new timeline backup, and it made a backup as we created this timeline. So the best way for you to actually work with the timeline settings is you're going to go back into the folder where your backup projects are. So mine is obviously inside here, and you can see there was recently a project made over here. This is the timeline that was recently made for this project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to all the timelines that I've had here. Okay, I'm going to copy these across. I'm going to move them into this timelines folder. Just like that. So now all these different time spaces that have been saved for the projects that we've had from any project where it's backed up a timeline will be inside the exact same folder as this timelines backup project. So what you need to do is you go back into Davinci Resolve. You're going to go restore timeline backup, and you'll see there's multiple different versions now available. Obviously, just select through them all and see which one it is. So I'm not looking for this project. I'm looking for a different project. So I'll go through all the projects that I've recently been working on, and it'll load them all. So I wasn't looking for this one. We'll do this again. So you'll notice this is the timeline that we've brought back. This is the exact project I want. Something just to keep in mind is that it'll bring everything back. So your text items it'll bring back. Obviously, if you don't have the fonts installed from a new install of your PC, you won't have that installed. So you'll need to make sure that you install all the new fonts. But basically the raw cut is back now inside of the timeline. I'm going to show you guys how to bring the media back into the timeline once you've obviously restored the timeline backup from your backups. I'll show you the process now. I'm going to show you guys how to move the media back in. So what I'm going to do is this sub element over here is completely offline. I can't see it. Nothing is playing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the media back in to the master bin over here, bin 1, and you'll see it automatically relinks with the project. So any of the cuts you made to this particular one, you can see I removed a certain sound section from this sub element MOV. It's relinked the media back into the timeline. Very simple for you guys to see that. There it is right there. And yeah, no need to have to redo the entire edit. I've used the timeline backup. It saved the project from me having to redo the entire project. Some stuff might not load. I haven't done an extensive look into the full restoring of a project. But you can see here when it comes to this MOV element, this media element here, it's brought it back exactly how it was cut inside the timeline. This should save you guys a hell of a lot of time when it comes to refinding those, bringing those projects back in from old timelines that you might have lost, or you might have just done a refresh of your PC and you only saved your timelines for some reason, and now you need to bring your entire media back in. This is going to help you a lot. Hope this helps you guys when it comes to recovering your projects that you've lost. I know that I spent a lot of time trying to find a tutorial that's going to show me how to bring my projects back that I've lost from older projects, because I didn't have the save project feature back on. So it's important to make sure that you have the save project feature back on and your backups, and that'll save you a lot of time. Hope you guys found this tutorial useful. Thanks so much.